our Hannah Newsmark viewers, we continue to bring you the hot developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. As you know, the war continues. The parties continue their mutual attacks and show that a very intense period of conflict has begun. The war between Russia and Ukraine has been going on for a long time. The international tensions and debates that this war has created are likely to dominate the world agenda for many years to come. The war, which started with Russia's desire to invade, has been prolonged with the emergence of problems faced by the Russian army on the front line. It was announced to the world that the strong appearance of the Russian army was actually a deception. Russia, which failed to achieve the gains it targeted against the Ukrainian army, also suffered a great loss of reputation. The situation the Russian army found itself in caused the world to see its soldiers fleeing left and right in front of the eyes of the whole world. Public dissatisfaction with Putin's rule is growing in Russia, but opposition leaders fear for their lives. The situation of the Russian army has also come under particular scrutiny. One of the Russian generals was dismissed from the army after recent scandalous events. When the truth came out, it was revealed that the Putin administration's own negligence had led the Russian army to fail. But in order to hide its own mistakes, the Kremlin is choosing victims to take the blame. At the same time as the Ukrainian army is striking Russian targets, the future of the war is being worked out. As the Ukrainian army carries out successful attacks, the number of dismissed commanders in the Russian army is increasing day by day. Following the developments on the front line, it is understood that the motivation of Ukrainian soldiers is quite high. Reports indicate that there is a serious lack of motivation and disorganization in the Russian army. Kiev authorities, who are doing their best to end the war process in favor of Ukraine, stated that the work has accelerated. Now, if you are ready, let's examine the latest developments together. As Newsmark, we continue to bring you developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us in the comments. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Newsmark channel. Let's start if you are ready. Newsmark reports. The incident that took place the other day has led to the addition of a new commander to the ranks of the dismissed commanders in the Russian army. Since the beginning of the war, the Russian army has been shaken by the news of senior commanders who have been dismissed or disappeared. It is also reported that many senior Russian commanders lost their lives in the Ukrainian attacks. The last dismissed commander was reported as Lieutenant General Sohrab Akhmedov. While he was serving as the commander of the Russian 20th Combined Arms Army, he was dismissed with a decree that came overnight. The unit under his command is currently participating in harassment attacks on Russia's Donetsk front towards the eastern city of Lyman. As a result of the newly established balances, the defense minister was changed in the new cabinet announced by Putin. Following the news of the change, there have been many reports that the balance in the Kremlin has changed. It is reported that the new minister in the Kremlin will make major changes in the military command to establish his own team. Russian President Putin, on the other hand, is cautiously following the actions of the new defense minister. The news of Akhmedov's dismissal is the first of its kind during the war. It is considered a remarkable development as it is the first time that an officer actively commanding Russian forces in Ukraine has been dismissed as part of Russia's dismissal tour. Akhmedov's errors summarize the process that the entire Russian military is going through. Since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022, Akhmedov is blamed for the failure of the unit he commanded to make significant progress on the Kharkiv-Luhansk axis in Russia's ongoing offensive. He is also said to have contributed to many battlefield setbacks, including failures. The dismissed commander is involved in another incident known to all who follow the war. Last summer, the Russian unit the commander was in charge of was at the center of a Ukrainian HIMARS attack on Russian forces in the occupied Ukrainian city of Kremenna, Luhansk. The purpose of the troops assembled in the area before the Ukrainian attack was clear. The attack reportedly killed or wounded hundreds of Russian soldiers who had gathered to hear Akhmedov's speech. Leading military experts said that for 2 hours people stood in one place in the crowd, waiting for the division commander to deliver his motivational speech. After this attack, a suspicious situation emerged regarding the Russian commander. We were once again thrown into an incomprehensible battle by General Muradov and his compatriot Akhmedov so that we could earn bonuses for Muradov to look good in Gerasimov's eyes. The men of the 155th Brigade of the Russian Pacific Fleet Marine Corps wrote in a letter to the governor of Primorsky Krai. As can be seen from the statements, there are different interest groups within the Russian army. Stating that politics has interfered with the army, Russian sources say that this is actually at the root of the failure in the army. Stating that the potential of the Russian army is gradually weakening, the officials say that they are at a disadvantage against Ukraine. Muradov was suspended from the unit he commanded shortly after the failed Volodar offensive. It was revealed that then Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu had ordered Muradov to take Volodar at all costs to alleviate growing criticism of the Russian military's operation in Ukraine, but it is widely known that this order was not carried out. The ongoing operations of the Ukrainian army are causing growing unrest within the Russian military. In recent days, the Ukrainian army has been cracking down on the Russian army, especially in Crimea. The Ukrainian army, which carried out a major operation in Crimea, has caused enormous damage to the Russian army both materially and psychologically. Strategic operations were carried out by the Ukrainian army in various regions during the war, but the last wave of attacks dealt the heaviest blow to the Russian army. The Ukrainian army, which does not allow the Russian army to recover, is conducting the most successful campaign within its means. With the support of European countries, the Ukrainian army's campaign is getting stronger every day. Thanks to the active support in international politics, Kyiv is gaining great power against Russia. Moscow, which continues to intervene in violation of international law, continues to be negatively affected by the process. How do you evaluate the firing of the Russian general? What do you think about the political rivalries and factions in the Russian army? What can you say about the motivation of the Ukrainian army? What do you think about the situation of senior commanders in the Russian army? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.